The explosion of shattering glass tore through Willow Creek's pre-dawn silence, a violent crash that yanked me from sleep. Heart racing, I threw off the covers, instincts honed by 16 years in the secret Sarah VYC taking over. Barefoot, I grabbed my phone and ran outside, the chilly October air biting at my skin. The pristine suburb manicured lawns, identical mailboxes, synchronized porch lights wasn't supposed to sound like a combat zone. Down Magnolia Lane, a woman's scream followed the noise, raw and panicked. I sprinted toward it. Unaware, I was charging into a war I'd spend the next month fighting. I'm Ethan Caldwell, retired Secret Service VYC agent, now a security consultant trying to build a quieter life. 3 months ago, I'd moved to Willow Creek, a D.C. suburb close enough for client meetings, but far enough to escape the grind of my old job. My house at 24, Magnolia Lane, was a fresh start, its barren backyard a blank canvas for the native garden I planned. The locals praised their efficient homeowners association, but no one mentioned its enforcer, Deborah Vance, HOA president and suburban tyrant, a woman who treated her clipboard like a gavel and the rulebook like gospel. That morning, I found the source of the chaos. Mrs. Larson, a widowed retiree, stood on her lawn, trembling in her bathrobe. Her front window was shattered, a brick lying amid the glass with "Rule Breaker" scrawled in marker. Neighbors peeked from their doors, whispering. Mrs. Larson, near tears, muttered about a recent HOA fine for her unapproved rose bushes. "I paid it," she said. "Why this?" I scanned the Sanino footprints, no tire marks, just deliberate malice. Deborah's black SUV pulled up minutes later, her blonde bob immaculate. She surveyed the damage with a frown that felt more performative than sympathetic. "This happens when standards slip," she said loudly. "Rules matter." Mrs. Larson flinched, and I felt a familiar prickly kind I got when power was weaponized. I'd stayed off Deborah's radar since MOVYing in, paying dues on time, and keeping my lawn pristine. My focus was my fledgling consulting business, securing contracts with private clients. But the vandalism gnawed at me. Over the next week, 2 more homes were hit. A mailbox defaced with NON compliant, a shed tagged with rebel. Each targeted homeowners Deborah had fined for tri-VY Allen fraction sand inch-tall hedge, holiday lights left up a day late. The neighborhood WhatsApp buzzed, but no one named the OBVY a suspect. Deborah's enforcement had turned predatory, and the vandalism felt like her shadow. My own clash came on a crisp Saturday when I started my backyard project. I'd planned a native garden gravel paths, black-eyed Susans, a solar-powered fountain all approved by the HOA on September 15th after I'd dissected their 80-page rulebook. I was marking the fountain spot when Deborah's voice cut through the air. "Mr. Caldwell, this work is unapproved." She stood on my property line, clipboard in hand, her cashmere scarf fluttering. Her eyes, shielded by sunglasses, pinned me like a laser. I wiped dirt from my hands, offering a practice smile. "Morning, Deborah. The plans were approved last month. Paperwork's on the patio if you want to check." Her lips thinned as she flipped through her clipboard. "I see no approval for a fountain. Water features need special permits, mosquito risks, electrical codes." She spoke as if I'd proposed a toxic waste dump. "It's in the submission, page 3, I said. "Solar-powered, mosquito-proof." Committee signed off. I gestured to my folder, but she stepped onto my lawn, Yunin VY Ted, her boots sinking into the soil. "Your gravel's over the property line," she snapped, pointing. "And these plants? Not on the 2024 list. Halt this now or face due law 500 daily fines." She raised her phone, recording, fishing for a reaction. I kept my cool, years of defusing diplomatic standoffs guiding me. "The gravel's temporary, and the plants are from Appendix B, native species. I'll continue the approved work." Her eyes flared. "I'm ordering you to leave this property until the committee re-VYUs this next month." She leaned in, voice low. "Liens can complicate a new home, Mr. Caldwell." I laughed softly. "You're asking me to leave my own property? Exterior areas fall under HOA jurisdiction. she said, misquoting a bylaw. I'm enforcing emergency authority. Before I could reply, my back gate opened. Jake Torres and Sam Rivera, Secret Service VYC colleagues, stepped through in polos and khakis, their earpieces and concealed sidearms subtle but unmistakable. Jake scanned the scene. Problem, Ethan? Deborah's phone dipped. Who are they? Friends, I said. Here for a consulting discussion after I finish. Deborah's questioning my approved landscaping. Jake's neutral tone carried weight. Sounds like a mix-up, ma'am. Deborah faltered. You're in security? 16 years, Secret Service VYC, I said. Presidential detail for 9. These guys are active duty, VY's citing on their day off. Her face flickered shock, doubt, then panic. She gripped her clipboard. I'll re-VYEW the paperwork. Do that, I said. And check bylaw 14.1 on board overreach and Maryland's trespass laws. You enter my property without cause. Sam added. Recordings require 2-party consent, ma'am. Deborah's cheeks reddened. She muttered about doing her job and retreated, tossing back. The committee will address this. Jake grinned as she left. Like that diplomat in Vienna? Huh. Less reasonable, I said. Deborah didn't relent. Over the next week, violation notices piled up. Improper mulch placement, excessive watering, landscaping clashing with community aesthetics. Each was baseless, but I documented everything: photos, emails, timestamps. I also talked to neighbors. Mrs. Larson shared Deborah's due la $150 fine for a rustic birdhouse. The Patels described her campaign against their son's basketball hoop, complete with dawn inspections. The pattern was clear. Deborah wasn't enforcing rules. She was settling scores. The vandalism escalated, too. A 4th home was hit, violator spray-painted on a garage. The owner, Mr. Chun, had been fined for a non-conforming fence. Suspecting a connection, I set up a trail camera in my alley. At 1:43 a.m., it caught a hooded figure tagging the Patel's fence with deviant. The build matched Deborah's son, Tyler, a sullen teen I'd seen at HOA meetings. I saved the footage, building my case. Deborah called a special HOA meeting to address my ongoing violations. The community center was tense, the room arranged like a courtroom, with the board elevated and me in a lone chair. Deborah opened with a PowerPoint of my offenses, blurry photos of my fountain, and gravel portraying me as a rebel undermining Willow Creek's legacy. When my turn came, I handed each board member a binder. Here's the approved paperwork, photos of the work, and a rebuttal of every violation, I said. But the real issue is abuse of power. I projected slides, Deborah's contradictory emails, a neighbor's affidavit VYT about her trespassing, and the trail cam footage of Tyler vandalizing the Patel's fence. The room gasped. President Vance has overstepped her authority, I said. Her son's vandalism has terrorized us. I filed complaints under bylaws 14.1 and 15.3, and I'm prepared to pursue legal action for trespass and harassment. Neighbors erupted, sharing their stories. Deborah's fines for a wheelchair ramp, her obsession with measuring trash cans, her threats over minor infractions. Mrs. Patel, a lawyer, presented a petition from 15 homeowners demanding Deborah's removal. Mr. Gordon, a retired prosecutor, cited state laws she'd broken. The board, shaken, recessed. They returned with a verdict. My violations were dismissed. More shockingly, they voted 4-1 to start Deborah's removal as president for gross misconduct. A week later, she was ousted, fined due law $1,000 for bylaw violations, and faced CIVYL suits from 5 homeowners, including me. Tyler was referred to juvenile court. The day the board's letter arrived, I was planting lavender by my finish fountain. Deborah stormed out, clutching the notice, her face twisted with rage. You've ruined everything, she yelled. I made this community. I stood, brushing soil from my hands. You made a cage, Deborah. Welcome to Willow Creek's new era. If you were the one in this story, how would you react? Would you stand up and fight back, or accept the unreasonable pressure and control from the HOA? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this VY Deo with more people. Your small action gives us the motivation to keep bringing you more intense and engaging stories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next VY Deo.